Okay, hello everyone. Can we all hear me? Please let's ensure to let me know in the comment section if we all can hear me. Okay, all right. I think that is perfect because I need to be intentional and particular about the audio today. So what happened in the last class will not repeat itself today. Okay, wonderful. All right. So today, the comment section is buzzing already. It's good to have you all on board. Wonderful, wonderful. Awesome. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay. So very first thing, for those of us who haven't subscribed to the channel, for those of us who haven't smashed the like button, let's ensure to do that right away. This is the channel where we are going to be uploading classes that are related to the Faculty of Social Science. Okay. So let's ensure to turn on the notification bell and also subscribe to the channel. And for those of us who haven't joined the private class yet, let's ensure to do that. All you need to do is just head straight to our official website, which is www.tutorial.net. Find the WhatsApp button on the top right hand corner. All right. And from there, you can join, send us a direct message, and we will guide you, all right, on how to join the private class. Wonderful. So now, in our last class, we talked about qualitative data, but due to some technical issues, due to some technical issues, we are unable to, all right, make the best out of that class. So we are going to be taking the class now so that we are sure we have done due diligence. So without further ado, let's talk about what it means by qualitative data analysis. Before now, we have talked about what it means by quantitative data analysis. So in today's class, our attention is going to be focused on qualitative data analysis. So when we talk about qualitative data analysis, what are we referring to? Okay, now qualitative data analysis is best for research whereby the researcher lack clear idea of the problem, all right, of the problem they need to study, all right. This research analysis is a good fit, all right, a good fit for situations whereby the researcher, all right, does not have a clear idea about, okay, the problem anticipated during the research work. Now, underline clear idea, okay? We are simply talking about not having enough information, all right, not having access to enough information that can guarantee a comprehensive and successful research work from the very first beginning to the end of the process. All right. In situations like this, we use, all right, it is advisable to use the qualitative data analysis. Now, it is appropriate for the total study in topic areas where development data are limited. All right. Appropriate for studies where development data are limited. Just like what we are still talking about. In situations where researchers don't have clear idea, all right? In a situation whereby researchers have access to limited development data, then qualitative data analysis or qualitative research, all right, becomes the order of the day. Now, remember we talked about quantitative. We said it has to do with figures, but qualitative is otherwise, all right? This is related to, all right, not having the figures. And what is research without having the figures? Qualitative data analysis or qualitative data speaks it all. Let's get to find out more about this. Now, when we talk about qualitative data analysis, there are certain techniques, all right? There are certain techniques involved, okay? Certain techniques are involved, all right? So let's quickly consider qualitative research techniques, all right? Qualitative research techniques. So now, several techniques are adaptable, all right, when it comes to qualitative research. But now you want to ask this question. Now that I don't have, all right, access to development data, now that I don't have the clear idea about the problems I can encounter doing my research work, then what is the way forward? Bear it in mind. When we talk about qualitative data analysis, there's something you cannot remove out of this recipe. There's something you cannot remove out of the recipe of qualitative data analysis, and that is what we refer to as explore, all right, exploration. You can't remove that out of qualitative data analysis. We'll get to find out more as we go into things. Now, one of the techniques we want to talk about here is called exploratory investigation. Exploratory investigation. Now, when we say exploratory investigation, what are we talking about? What are the things involved? What are you expected to do as a researcher using this technique? All right. What? All right. Just to mention, but a few though. There is one thing we call under explorative investigation. We have the likes of in-depth interviewing. In-depth interviewing. Now, you know, I said something about exploration. All right. Now, when it comes to, exploration is different from exploitation. All right. Exploration here, you are going into certain processes in order to get your own data, to make your own findings. All right. You are not working based on what have existed. You are not working based on literature review or literature reviews or other person's journal. All right. You are working based on what you can collect on the field for your research by yourself. All right. So you need to explore, and exploring a lot to do. Now, among other things under this analysis is what we call exploration investigation. All right. Don't forget, exploration itself is, all right, you going through the process of collecting your data, all right, on that particular field. Investigation here also is in same line of what we're talking about, which has to do with collecting of data, all right, in order to make certain decisions and conclusions. So some of the techniques, all right, some of the things subfield under exploratory investigation is in-depth interviewing, all right, which is a well-structured system for collecting of data. We also have participant observation, okay, as well as we have psychological testing and prosemics and kinetics. Now, I want to talk about the prosemics and kinetics. We are talking about when you study the space and body motion communication. Okay, don't forget you are exploring and you are investigating. So all these things you need to pay attention to get what you want. So let's just take you out of all this, and that will be prosemics. Let's take prosemics. Okay, prosemics. Now we have that as that. Okay, so now I will talk about the research technique. Now there's something here we want to talk about before we move forward a little bit. Okay, now we talked about in-depth interviewing, prosemics. We also talked about. I think we should take one more on that. We talked about participants' participation, observation, participant. Now, all this, the combination of all this leads somewhere. All right. Now it says here, when these approaches, all right, all these approaches under the techniques of exploratory investigation, when they are combined, all right, when they are combined, for exploratory technique emerges with wide applicability for political researchers. So when you combine all of these together, I think there are about 5 of them. We're only mentioning 3. When you combine all 5 of them together, it says here that when these approaches are combined, 4 exploratory techniques emerge. All right. So what are the 4 exploratory techniques that emerges from these approaches under exploratory investigation? First, we have the likes of secondary data analysis, okay, focus groups, experience survey, and 2-stage designs. So now let's do it this way. So now, this then leads to, let's take it like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I think I should adjust my camera a bit, so you can see all what we have there clearly. I think it's better now. 4. Now, We have secondary data analysis. Secondary data analysis. Okay, we have experience survey. And the third one, we have focus group, and we also have two-stage designs. Now, are we following the process? Quality, qualitative research technique. Then we have exploratory investigation. And under exploratory investigation, these are the approaches. Then the combination of these approaches gave room for what we refer to as further techniques. Okay, with wide applicability for political researchers, and they are secondary data. Now, this has become secondary data because you have done the first-hand data gathering through this process. All right. So, based on what you have done here, you now have certain experience gotten from survey. All right. For what you've gotten from this survey, you can now have what we call the focus group. Okay. Now, and this focus group, then we have the two-stage design. Now, let's take a step further. Permit me to raise the ball so we can take more points. Like I said earlier, for those of us who haven't subscribed to the channel, please let's ensure to do that. Highly essential. Okay. Now, we have, for secondary data analysis, is the first step of exploratory study. Now, here, research of the secondary literature, all right? Studies made from others' own purpose present secondary data, definitely. Like I said earlier, based on the research is done by first doing your exploratory investigation, then the secondary data are what you have been able to extract from that investigation, all right? Then we also have the focus group, all right? This is where this, you carefully plan series of discussion designs. Don't forget it's an investigation. So the focus group here, we are talking about when a focus group study is a carefully planned series, all right, of discussion, focus group now, to obtain perceptions of a defined area, all right. Don't forget that it's an investigation. During the course of this investigation, you have a well-structured word, planned series of discussion. This discussion is well structured, planned to hit the nail on the head, and designed to obtain your participants' of perceptions on a defined area of interest with a permissive use or in a permissive or non-threatening environment. So you must make your participants be calm and willing to give out this information without the use of force. Are we together? Then that is for the focus group. So we also have the two-stage. Okay. We have the two-stage design. Now, a useful way to design a research study is a two-stage design. Now, with this design, exploration becomes separate first stage with limited objectives. Now, meaning that your design is subdivided into two different compartments. The first compartment is you have your clearly defined, all right, research questions and hypotheses, while the second one has to do with developing your research design, all right, and your research design has the all and sundry of how your own research work is to be structured, what comes after another, one step at a time. So we have that as that. So there's benefits of exploratory study here. All right. So let's take some of the benefits. So what are some of the benefits? It is useful when researchers lack clear idea. I believe by now we know what that is. All right. Useful when researcher lack clear idea. Okay. Now through these exploratory studies, researchers develop concepts more clearly, establish properties, develop their operational definitions. All right. A development process for researchers. You get to develop yourself based on what you've been able to extract while exploring. All right. While conducting exploration. It saves time and money. It saves time and money. So we have that as that. Okay. So now let's take a step further. Now there are some methods of analyzing qualitative data. Qualitative data. Okay, some of these methods say there are three principal methods for analyzing qualitative information. Okay, we have the first one is called coding technique. CT, coding technique. Now, this is otherwise known as inductive coding. And here, the researcher designs the coding scheme on the basis of representative sample of response to question. Remember we said you are exploring. So you need to go on the field, be on the field, collect your information, collect your data. So now this coding technique now, you are being told that it is the responsibility of the researcher to design the coding scheme. The coding scheme is being designed by the researcher. And this is on the basis of what we refer to as representative sample of responses. All right? What are the responses gotten from the sample of the population we are talking about? Representative sample of the responses to questions. All right? And we also have the content analysis technique. Content analysis technique. Now, this approach is to select a sample to test over a long period of time for independent what? Reading and analysis. All right? Select a sample selection for studying. Okay? Sample selection for studying. So we also have structural content analysis technique. Structural content analysis technique. Now, the structure, okay, the presentation of the text and the reports are being presented. Text and report presentation. Okay, particular, intentional, and concern about how the text and reports are being presented. Are we on the same page? Okay. And the fourth one is substantive. All right, substantive content analysis technique. Substantive content analysis technique. So let's just use sub. All right, substantive content analysis technique. Now, when we talk about this technique, under the method of data, of analyzing qualitative data. Now, this content analyzes selected text by counting the frequency and distribution of the keyword. This one is not particular about the keyword, just the text, but the sub content analysis is particular about the keyword and not about the text and the presentation. Frequency and distribution of the keywords. Okay, so we have that as that. So let's take a step further. It says here, are we together? It says here, the weakness of qualitative research. Now, so let's say the limitation as well. Let's consider some of the weaknesses. Data collected is largely, all right, is largely exaggerated. So we have exaggerated, supposed to be GE, data. Okay, so the figures are not usually accurate. Now, research is weighed down by bias, the problem of bias. Don't forget that this is people you are interviewing. Okay, give you based on what you feel, based on what they think. So we have the use of proxy. No, talks about proximity. Proximity. You have to be close to get a response from this respondent, and that enough can slow things down. And you might not even be getting the accurate information you sought or you need. Okay, so we have that as that. So very quickly, let's talk about one or two things as we are already covering the whole thing already. Okay. Now, let's take this. Okay. It says combination. Are we together? Combination of qualitative and quantitative analysis. What if we have both mixed together? What are the possibilities? Okay, let's consider the possibilities. Now, oh, wonderful. Thank you for that. Now, based on this mixed, the combination of both qualitative and quantitative, all right, the combination is called the mixed method. And this method has sparked some arguments. So, some scholars still object to a mix, all right, still object to a mix and a match approach. All right, they believe that it's either you are doing qualitative or quantitative. They are not in support of the mix. But what is the possibility of having both mix? It is used, all right, its use has been accepted as, all right, some has accepted the use of both as appropriate though. Now, accordingly, excuse me, if the approach is to be used, excuse me, please. Now, let's take note of this, please. According to Breman, qualitative research often acts as a precursor for the formulation of problem and development of research instruments. That is, it is an indices or a scale for qualitative research. Okay, that's according to Breman. All right, now, so this same Breman said if you are using both, one will dominate another. Using both is not actually bad, but you need to bear in mind that one will definitely dominate the other. So it's not a matter of which one you would have dominating the other. So we have that as that. Now let's take a step further, please. All right. Now, it says here, what are the similarities? Okay. What are the similarities between qualitative and quantitative analysis? Okay. There are certain similarities. So let's consider these similarities. What are the similarities of both qualitative and quantitative analysis? Are we together? So now, one thing you must bear in mind is that both involve making inferences, both qualitative and quantitative. All right, they both involve making inferences. Please note that. All right, and when we talk about making inferences, we are talking about both of them make use of conclusion. Conclusion based on certain verifiable facts. So having gotten this fact and analyzed them, a conclusion can be arrived at. So it is correct, it is true to say both qualitative and quantitative analysis, all right, make use of inferences. Secondly, both method of analysis involve a public method or process. When we say public, they are both transparent. Okay? When we say public, we are simply saying that both methods are transparent. Nothing hidden about them. Are we together? Okay? Now, we have number 3. Okay? It says that in comparison, all right, in comparison, researchers using both avoid errors, all right, false conclusion and misleading inference. Okay, so whether you're using qualitative or you're using quantitative, all right, you can avoid false conclusion, all right. You can also avoid errors because you'll be getting data based on your research processes, and these data could be verifiable easily. All right, so we have that as that. Now let's take a step further. Okay, so now that we have considered the similarities, I think it is fair to consider the differences. Okay, please let's pay attention to what I'm saying. Now, when we say the differences, all right, so for Q, so let's say quali, and for quanti, all right. So now, for quantitative analysis, uses what we call standard statistical techniques. Don't forget, quantitative deals with number, but qualitative use less of standardized techniques. All right, because no numbers involved here. Now, also, quantitative, it delays analysis till when you are collecting data or when you have collected data. While quantitative doesn't, it begins earlier before all data is collected. Why? Because here you are using what we call the interviewing, all right? You are using what we call exploration investigation. So it is a whole lot different, all right? Here now, you have to wait till you collect all your data. Then you begin to make your conclusions or you analyze your data. But here, you can start as early as you begin the interview. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's continue. So we are getting close to the end of this course material. All right, and the last thing we have here is writing research reports. Now, so far so good. We've talked about the structure, how to get the data, how to collect, if you're using qualitative analysis strategy or you're using quantitative. So now let's talk about how you write the report. You've gotten all you need to get. So how do you write the report? Okay. Now, permit me to erase the board so we can take more, all right, we can take down more stuff. So we have how to write a research report. Okay, how to write a research report. Okay, so now most academic research reports are carried out in higher learning. Okay, which is what we are currently doing. All right, now reporting research finding. Don't forget that you have been gathering all your intels, all right, and everything. Now you need to now write your findings. Before undertaking the writing of a research report, you as a researcher, you should make sure that the data collection and analysis have been completed. Okay? How else do you want to write if it's not yet completed? So first and foremost, your data collection and analysis have been completed. Then you can talk about reporting your research findings. Okay? So now, reporting research findings. All right, and under this, I have emphasized that before taking the writing of a research report, you as a researcher, you must have made sure that your data collection and analysis have been completed. All right, then we can move to the next one. Okay, which is what actions guarantees good research reports. All right, so now we'll talk about good research reports. Let's quickly hear what Bloomberg said. Now, Bloomberg et al. in 2005 says, it suggested that a good research report should follow the characteristics of scientific method and also outline how researchers can achieve each characteristics. So what are the characteristics? Now, let's talk about the format. How should your research work be formatted? All right. Your research work is, we are talking about two different things now. You've been able to collect the data, all right. You've been able to do your findings. Now we're talking about how to structure it, how to arrange it properly, so that you can communicate all you need to communicate clearly and precisely. Bloomberg has said that there are certain scientific characteristics your research, all right, reporting must follow. All right. So what should the format look like? Format. Now, under format, academic research project should contain certain information. So under this your format now, we want to talk about title page. Very important. Okay? Title page. Very important. Now, why do I say this title page is very important? The title page, okay, the title page is also called the cover page. Okay? This title page is also called the cover page. All right? And it contains the following. Okay? It contains the following. Okay? The title page contains the title of the research. Okay? Title of the research study. Number one, it contains the researcher's name. Okay? The researcher's name in full. Name in full. Okay? Qualification. All right? What program? CBSc, is it PhD, doctorate, what exactly? Then your faculty, your department and faculty. We have department, faculty, all right, and department. Then lastly, we have date. These are all the things that are expected in your title page. Okay? Are we together? These are all the things that are expected to be in your title page. Okay? So we have that as that. Now, let's continue. Okay? So, haven't talked about that. We move to the next one, which is the abstract. Okay? Abstract. Now, when we talk about abstract, what are we referring to? Okay? Now, the abstract, I'm sure it's something not new to us. It's something we must have been hearing of before now. Okay? The abstract is said to be a brief summary, all right? a brief summary of the research. Are we together? Abstract is said to be a brief summary of the research. Now, it's more like a quick intro. Usually, it is about 100 words in length. It should give information on the research problem that was studied. Don't forget now, you are reporting, okay? All the research problem that was studied should be introduced in the abstract. The method you use to conduct your study, all right? And information on the type of problem, the results, and your major conclusion, not your detailed conclusion. Your major. Now, let's put something down. Okay, we are back. All right, that was the thing from the network. Okay, I think we are good to go. Can we all hear me? Can we all hear me? Okay, just let me know in the comment section if we can all hear me. Please indicate in the comment section. Wonderful. Okay. Yes, thank you very much for that. So as I was explaining, the abstract is a brief summary, all right, of what your research is all about. And it's about 100 to 200 words in length. It should not be too much. Okay, it should be about 100 to 200 words in length. And it should give information on the research problem. All right, information on the research problem. All right, definitely, you are doing a research work. Either you are solving a problem or you are improving upon what has existed. Okay, so we have that as that. Also, the method used. Okay, the method used doing your research work. Okay, and that we have. And the last one is your major conclusion. Conclusion. And you are wondering why all this? The primary objective of the abstract is to communicate to the reader the essence of your report. And that is what you get in the abstract. Okay? That is what you get. So still under the format, all right, we have that as that. Now the third one, so this is the first one, your title page. Second one, the third one, okay, number 3. Number 3, the certification page. The certification page. Now, this page has to do with, all right, the signature of your project supervisor. Okay, the signature of your project supervisor, the committee member, your head of department, all right, as endorsement or approval. All right, endorsement or approval. Then we have the fourth one. Okay, the dedication page. Okay, the dedication page. Now, this page is the author's page meant to specially express gratitude, okay, to people very dear to him or her. Some, like what I did, I dedicated it to my mom, all right, my project supervisor, to God Almighty first, and to um, my late mom in her loving memories. So you can dedicate it to anyone. It all depends your decision. But here is where you show your special thanks to people who are dear to you. Do that in the dedication page. And we have the acknowledgement page. This is where you contribute and support, all right? You acknowledge the contribution and support of individuals and groups doing your research work. You do that one in the acknowledgement page. All right, acknowledgement page. So we have that as that. 2 more to go. The table of contents, that's 6, and the main body. Now, table of content, and we have main body. Table of contents, all right, this is where you report, this is where you show your different chapters. Where your table of content and figures, all right, table of content and figures, all right, figures and tables, all right, table of content. Now, your entire content, all right, you list everything, and also where you use tables and where you use figures, you mention it on your table of content. And we have the main body, where we have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, 5, all right, and we have that as that. So there are also what we refer to as referencing style. You know, after the whole thing, you have to reference during the course of your project. Definitely, you use books, all right. You use books, you use other people's inputs. So in your referencing, all right, when you need to reference all these people, you have used their properties so that you don't do plagiarism. So to reference them, different styles. When you reference them, you're only acknowledging the fact that you use some. That is also often called the Harvard style. That's the one I used. We have the Kate Turabian style, and a whole lot more. So let's talk about the APA style. Now, this APA style, in reporting an author's contribution to on the test using the APA style, you have to follow certain essentials. So the person's name, the date of publication of that material you used, and the possible page you use from his material, you need to indicate it. All right. So let's say, for example, some of the factors cited are cost of Japan's relationally low rates of labor turnaround, in quotes, Marshall, and the year, and you can put the name of the book. I think that's the same style At the end of each unit in our course material, you will see that it will be written that so name, so book, so year of publication. That's the same style we're talking about. So thank you very much, everyone. We have been able to do justice, all right, to the course. And before we call it a wrap, there's something called bibliography. When we talk about bibliography, it contains less than 20 titles, all right, subdivided into categories. One that has 30 or more titles should be classified and contain 20 to 30 more titles that may be classified into certain things. Now, basically, you are only talking about, all right, yourself in that bibliography, or you are highlighting the important input of certain individuals when we talk about the bibliography. Okay, so I think we have, okay, so let's just take that. Of books referred to, all right, in a scholarly work, list of books used, or list of books referred to in a school, the likes of journals and so on and so forth. So thank you very much, everyone. I think we've been able to do justice to the course. Please let's ensure to do the needful. Let's submit our notes to the appropriate quarters. And for those of us who haven't joined a private class yet, let's ensure to join a private class. It's highly essential. This is where we walk you through all the courses without leaving any stone unturned. Visit us today on our official website, www.store.net. Use the WhatsApp button on the top right, send us a direct message, and from there we'll guide you. By next week, we are starting a new course entirely for this faculty. You have a wonderful evening, afternoon, and bye for now.